Hey guys, I was gonna go live, but going live makes me nervous. I decided to just film a video instead because I also don't want to really be on for too long. This video is going to be about grounding, and I'm going to also touch briefly on energy clearing or energy cleansing. They're kind of the same and similar. I guess it depends on how your mind works. Energy clearing to some may not be the same as energy cleansing and vice versa. Um, for grounding, um, I wanted to speak on grounding because that's one of the most basic things from a spiritual perspective, um, regarding, let's see, I don't know. It's one of the most basic things for witchcraft, dealing with energy, spirituality, etc. If you're going to be dealing in those aspects, you need to know how to ground yourself. Because in being spiritually in tune, etc., you need to be able to stay in touch with your physical body and stay in touch with the fact that we are human beings, we are earthly beings, and we are rooted in the earth. We come from the earth. Our vehicle, our physical body is from the earth. And if you do not ground, you will tend to usually feel very spacey. You can feel dizzy, lightheaded. Like you could literally feel like you are floating off, like you're just not all there at all. And sometimes you experience those types of I don't want to say symptoms, but sometimes you'll experience that type of stuff, and or you'll think of times where you experienced that and you weren't even in a spiritual place at that time. And I'm back. so, I don't even really know where I left off before my son came in here crying. Um, hmm. Let's see. Um, I think I was saying that you may have experiences where you are at, or you'll realize that you are having these experiences where you are not grounded, at times where you aren't even necessarily spiritual or like actively doing spiritual work. Um, so when you are not grounded or you like really need to ground yourself, you're going to be able to tell, especially if you have utilized the tool of grounding, and it's been a while, you'll be able to tell when you really do need it. But on a regular basis, grounding is very useful for, like, if you're in maybe a stressful situation, like a mentally or emotionally stressful situation. Grounding, if you're having a hard time focusing on meditation or focusing on work, or you know whatever you're trying to do, if you're having a hard time with focusing, grounding is also helpful for that as well. So when you're grounding, what you're doing is connecting with the earth. You're bringing your energy back down into the earth, and ideally, if you could do it physically, that would be very good, because our bodies are electric, and when you ground physically, like if you're sitting and touching a rock, just, taking some deep breaths, sitting on a rock, like a big rock or something, or like on a mountain or on the beach, in the grass, it doesn't matter. When you're like sitting or laying and you're like touching the earth, what you're doing is you are balancing out the electrons in your body. Because if I'm not mistaken, we tend to accumulate a larger number of positive electrons. And when we are grounding physically and we're getting in contact with nature, with the earth, whether it's touching a tree, even if you're indoors, like if it's very rainy outside and you don't want to go outside, if it's very cold or something like that, like if you have plants, you can hold your plants. You can do this with crystals, or even if you just have like feathers. Like I keep a feather on my altar. So like even if you have a feather, like it really is like intentional and very your thoughts and your mind, your intention, basically, what I just said, is very important with this. So if for some reason you can't be outside, although that is ideal, there's other ways that you can go about it. I know when I was younger, I used to love laying on the floor, and it was carpet, just lay on the floor and just close my eyes, and I would imagine or visualize. And I don't think I was really doing it on purpose. It was just came natural to me. I would lay on the floor and I would just like feel like I was sinking into the earth. And I would just relax and it would just give me peace. Like that was probably like my form of meditation and grounding. And I didn't even know I was doing that. So that leads me to grounding when you're meditating, or grounding before you do a spell or ritual. And these techniques can be used also like when you're just grounding because you're in a stress situation, grounding because you are feeling spacey, grounding because you have a decision that you need to make like right then and there, or like that day in the next couple days, and you just feel like you can't grasp like your emotions and you're like all over the place, you're feeling spacey or whatever the case is. You can do this. So there's like I'm going to just like talk about a couple of different ways to ground. So for grounding, you can so one way you can ground is similar to laying out on the floor and like feeling in tune with the earth and like imagining like you're sinking in to the earth, right? And so these couple examples I'm going to give are going to be basically like visualization. So these would be used in the cases where you're not outside, on the beach, or sitting in the grass, or whatever, like where you're not physically touching or in contact with nature. So these ways of grounding are that I'm going to talk about, aside from the basic physical ways, are going to be ways that you would emotionally and energetically, spiritually ground yourself, such as when you're meditating, or when you're in the middle of an office or a store, or whatever the case is, you're in court, whatever. So one way you could do this is very similar to what I had explained earlier. So you can be sitting any way you like, laying any way you like, and the visualization would be that you are having roots come out of your feet, and those roots are just going down into the earth, seeping down into the earth, all the way down to the core, okay? And then once those roots have grown all the way down to the core of the earth, from there it's like veins, like the veins that go through our body. There's going to be energy, and in my mind I picture like red, like red light energy, like red and yellow, like red and orange, like when you close your eyes on a sunny day and you just see like red and yellow orange tones. That's what I see when I visualize this. And that energy and that light is just going to flow between you and the earth. And you're just going to taking deep breaths, and you're just going to feel and be aware of the relaxation in your body. You're going to want to try to release any tension that's in your body. You're just going to want to allow that energy to flow between you and the core of the earth. And what that's doing is, and this is kind of like another like thought in the back of your mind, is anything negative, anything troubling you, stressing you, anything that is really like maybe taking you out of your element, or anything is or any sort of other negativity, or anything that is affecting you in a way that is not ideal, you are going to be able to transmit this to the earth for transmutation. And what I mean by that is you are giving that to the earth and allowing yourself to absorb that like fresh energy, that grounding energy that is kind of like cleansing you of that, and allowing you to not necessarily remove it, although it does have a very similar idea as the saying, give it to God, in a way that is kind of what you're doing. But for me, the way that I think about it is what you're doing is more so getting a firmer hold on your physical body, so that you could think more clearly, so that you can make a better decision, or more clearly see the bigger picture. So you're just allowing like a freshness, a restorative energy to replenish your body, and in turn also replenishing your mind, your spirit, to deal with whatever obstacles or challenges you're facing. So that's one way. And these other two ways I'm going to explain are basically the same concept, but different visualizations. So the second one that I like to do is also like, if you're sitting down or laying down, whichever, like I said, the position that you're in my opinion, really doesn't matter. Everyone has their opinions on what's ideal, or what's best. But for me, it doesn't matter. Sometimes I meditate laying down. Sometimes I meditate sitting up. I mean, do you? So anyway, so this second way is, if I were sitting down, it's got an energy of, what is the word? Like sinking sand, quicksand. So it's a visualization of like quicksand, like you're sitting in quicksand, but it's not that frantic, like fearful sort of energy that you would see like in a movie with quicksand. It would be a quicksand that's like just made of like the earth and love and abundance and nourishment, creativity, like a safe, like flowing, real relaxed, calm, peaceful energy. So that's another way that I like to ground. And so that would be like quicksand all around you. And as you sit in it or lay in it, and you're just, you're doing your breathing and stuff, and you're just relaxing into it, and you're just feeling like your whole body, like literally, is just being brought down into the earth, like in a different realm or dimension within this quicksand. And it's just all the good shit. All the good shit. Like I already said, peace, love, joy, abundance, clarity, like all of that. And you're just going to allow yourself to sink into that, and you're just going to breathe. And you're just feeling very surrounded. And it's almost like a womb energy, like you're being sunk into the womb of the earth. And from there, you're just going to keep doing your breathing, and you're going to connect with the earth, and, do what you do in your mind, whatever it is that's bothering you. You're just going to let that flow, and let things just come in and out. You're going to be receptive. You're going to be flowing. You're going to be allowing. And I'm getting the image of when in the Black Panther, how they bury them in the earth. Right now, that's the image that I'm getting. When they bury them in the earth, and in this moment, they're in the spirit world, and they're visiting with their ancestors, and they're talking, and they're getting information, everything else. This is that same exact concept, and I didn't make that connection until just now, but that's what I'm seeing, or connecting as I'm explaining this. So it's that type of thing. You're breathing, you're allowing, and you're just letting things flow. And like I said before, that intention of allowing that clarity, allowing that joy, allowing that transmutation, allowing that alchemy to happen, to change something from this to this, and just being replenished, being renewed, and things like that. So that's example number 2. And then example number 3 is, like I said before, very similar. It's a very similar concept as the roots, but this one would be, you're kind of imagining your chakras. And so when you're grounding, you're really utilizing the power of your root chakra, which is at like the base of your spine. And so the visualization would be that you are allowing, you're picturing your chakras all in alignment, all of the colors. And what you could do is you could start from the top. And so you're going to see each color. So the top for some people is like a diamond, like crystal clear, or it's like a violet color. So whichever one you want, maybe a mix of both. And so you're going to see that light just kind of like, I don't want to say throbbing, but it's whatever your visualization is. But you can just allow that light to kind of, open up and glow. And then you can move down to your third eye, which is more of an indigo blue. And you're going to allow yourself, you're going to have your eyes closed. You're going to see it in your mind. I have a notification on my phone. I hope this video doesn't end. I'm going to stop it, and then I'll add to it if need be. Okay, I'm back. I wanted to make sure that I saved that other video because I didn't know what the message on my phone said. So you're going to go from your crown to your third eye, and you can view this as a throbbing, you can view it as a circular wheel. The point of the matter is you're just seeing that light, and that alignment of the chakras down the middle of your body. And you're going to allow that movement within each of the chakras to form in your mind's eye. You're seeing it move, you're seeing it glow. And depending on, what's going on or how you feel, you can, as you're visualizing each chakra, you can visualize also seeing it um, open and close and release and pull in whatever it is that you feel like you need at that moment, on each of the chakras, whatever your challenges are, whatever you're trying to strengthen, etc. So from the indigo third eye, you're going to move to your throat, which is more of a blue, um, like a true blue. And from there, you're going to go to your heart, which is green or pink. It depends on the person, or it could be both. Like I said with the crown, whatever is most resonant for you. So the heart is going to be blue, or excuse me, green or pink. From the heart, we're going to go to the solar plexus, which would be yellow, and then the sacral, which would be orange. And then once you're down to the sacral, the last one is going to be your root chakra. And the root chakra is like at the base of your spine. So once you're there, once you've gotten to the root, now you're seeing that red color and stuff. So now that you've gone all the way down from the top to your root, you can now have all of these colors. You're seeing all these colors, and they're all in alignment. They're in a straight line. You're breathing, and as you breathe in, you could feel that glow, come out. As you blow out, you can feel it like come in a little bit, like, that, what is the word? In my mind, I see like a throbbing, like the light is throbbing with your breath. And like I said, it whatever works for you, whatever you think of, it's up to you. Everyone, that's the thing with spirituality, it's very individual. Whatever, not everything speaks to everyone's soul or spirit. So if you think of something else, go with it. So anyway, you have all these colors and everything. And once you get down to the root chakra, and everything is glowing and in alignment, and you're breathing, and from there, for the whole grounding aspect, you can see a beam of light, and this could be a rainbow light, this could be a white light, a gold light, a silver light, a red light, whatever you want. All of those chakras are in alignment, and you can see that laser shoot out of your spine into the core of the earth, very similar to the roots. So you're going to see that beam of light shoot into the core of the earth, and this is going to act as that channel, for that energy to go and flow between you and the earth. And it's feeding you information and energy, healing, love, whatever it is that you're in need of. Or it could just simply be grounding. You're just feeling grounded and clear and in alignment, whatever you need. And you just take some deep breaths from there. And that's basically my last example. And with all of those, from there, once you're feeling grounded, in my mind, the way I move, like with meditation, for example, I would just allow things to kind of like progress from there. I won't focus so much on that grounding aspect, or the energy of being grounded, because I feel and am grounded already. So once you feel grounded, you can go ahead and relax a little bit more into that meditation, or into whatever spiritual work that you're doing. Or if that's all you were doing, you were just trying to ground yourself for a particular situation, then you can just kind of like pull your energy back up and just have a gratitude in your heart for the earth and that grounding energy that you just received. So yeah, so if you are actually meditating, for me, I would just kind of focus less on the grounding aspect once I'm feeling grounded, and then I'll go ahead and just retreat more within my spirit and myself, for the meditation, or whatever I'm doing. And then once I'm done meditating, from there I'll go ahead and kind of like pull my energy back in, from the earth, from the spirit realm. I won't like be so connected up there. I'll pull everything in. I'll call my energy back into myself, because you, in my opinion, don't want to walk around with like energy cords all out, because in my opinion you open yourself up to more outside of yourself than you really should. Like, there's no purpose for it. So that's something to keep in mind. So just like with visualizing those aspects of your energy being pulled out towards the spirit realm, towards the center of the earth, you want to pull that energy back into yourself. Yeah, and then if you don't actively ground, I mean, I would really recommend it. I think that anyone who actively begins grounding when they haven't would really find a difference in that if they began. So, especially if they do it on a regular basis. So that's the grounding aspect. For the clearing of energy, cleansing of energy, clearing or cleansing of energies, I wanted to just touch on that briefly. So when I speak of clearing and cleansing energy, I'm talking about clearing and cleansing energy of yourself, of a space, of items. So it's important, especially for people that are new to witchcraft or spirituality, or even sometimes people who have been in it and they just forget to get back to basics. I think anyone that has been practicing or into spirituality and witchcraft for a while can attest that sometimes you forget to what is the word? Like, pay respect in time and care to the basics, which would be grounding, clearing energy, and cleansing energy, spiritual and energetic protection. That's just the three I'm going to name for right now. So if you're into this and you're new to your journey, I highly recommend you doing your research on those three aspects and really understanding and getting to know in those ways what works best for you for grounding. What do you prefer for cleansing energy and space? What do you prefer as a means to energetically and spiritually protect yourself and your home and your family, etc.? Because those are the basics. With that being said, for anyone who is like completely unsure of what that means, it's kind of very straightforward. What you're doing is you are clearing and cleansing any negative or lower vibrational energies from a person, place, or object. So let's see. So this crystal. When I get this crystal, I don't know what it's been around. I don't know the people that have held it, touched it, spoke to it, or anything. You don't know. And this is an object that holds energy, that amplifies energy. So it's very important that when you get stuff like crystals, like cards, candles, when you get items, especially that are spiritual in nature, you want to make sure that you are taking care to cleanse them so that they are not bringing any negative energy, or lower vibrational connections or anything into your life, into your home. Especially like if you were to wear it and you don't know or trust the person that it came from. You just bought it from a store, maybe, I don't know. And you don't know what they do with it. Like if I bought this necklace at a store, even if it's a spiritual store, you would want to take it home and cleanse it and charge it and really attune it to your energy and make sure that no negative or lower vibrations are entering your life and your home and being worn on your body, unknowingly, like if you could, because you didn't do anything with it. This was sitting in a store and you don't know the people that touched it to look at it, or tried it on. Like you just don't know. You don't know what someone might have said while holding it. You just really don't know. So you want to, especially like crystals and like I said, spiritual items, you want to cleanse and clear the energy from those items when you bring them home, when they're new, when they were gifted to you, whatever the case is. The only exception I would say is if you buy an item that is supposed to already be charged or attuned to a specific energy from a person that you trust. So in those cases, I would still recommend that you do some sort of energy clearing, or cleansing, where you are saying that you want to, the intention is that you want to clear of any negative energies or vibrations, lower vibrations that may be present. So you're not wiping the slate clean and like just taking, you're not like trying to make this a blank canvas. What you're doing is just, in a sense, wiping it off, if that makes sense. Like you're making sure that it can still hold the energy that it's holding, but you want to make sure that it is all high vibrations, high frequency. So that's what I'm saying. So ways that you can do this, there's a lot. When you're energy cleansing and energetically cleansing and clearing an item, a person, a place, you really kind of have like a lot of options for real. It can, and you don't have to have sage and incense and candles and holy water or whatever, like Florida water. You don't have to have all of those items. Like you can have you can simply use your breath and your word. It can be as simple as you holding this item in your hands and taking some deep breaths to kind of like center and ground yourself. It doesn't have to be like all of the visualizations that I said. You can just have the intention of centering and grounding yourself and focusing, and taking deep breaths. And you can blow on the crystal as you're taking deep breaths, and that's infusing it with your intention, with your energy, with your spirit. And you can either say it in your head or you can say it aloud, that it is my intention to clear this of any and all lower vibrations. I clear this of any negativity. Allow this crystal to be clear of any negative intentions. Let this crystal be a fresh canvas to work in the ways that I need it to. And you can, from the cleansing aspect, from you clearing it and, you know, breathing life into it and like imagining this being like a cleansing breath, you can move right into charging it with whatever intention it is that you have. And you can repeat these things 3 times. Look into the power of numbers, which is a whole subject in and of itself. But yeah, you can do it literally with your word and with your breath. And you can say it in your head and just have that intention and that energy and allow it to like flow through your fingertips and like flow through your breath. But you can also combine that with the spoken and verbal word from you, which what speaking is a vibration. So that has a power all on its own. So you can do that. Or you can also cleanse using smudging. So sage, palo santo, sweetgrass, tobacco. Like, you could keep it simple. Like, you know, when you think of our ancestors and what they had, like, they didn't have all the stuff that we really have, a lot of the times, you know. Granted, some of the stuff that we have a harder time getting now was more accessible for them, but also there were times where they had the bare necessities. They didn't have color candles. So, you know, like, you really like work with your intention and work with what you have. Don't feel like you have to spend a bunch of money, because you don't. Magic and witchcraft is like energy. It's your intention, it's your word, it's your feeling, your emotion. That is what gives way to your mana, to your ashe, to your power. Okay. So yeah, so smudging, you could smudge it. You can also use incense for smudging, because it's basically cleansing by the way of smoke. You can use that. You can also, depending on the situation or what it is, you can, if you're cleansing a person, you can use an egg and you would roll it over the person's body, and the idea would be that the egg is absorbing that negative energy, and that would be like a sort of limpia, and that may be like a little bit more, I don't know, for people that are a little bit more traveled along their journey, I don't know, but that is an option. Similar way would be to use selenite, and you would use like a selenite wand to kind of like wave over yourself and have that visualization and intention that it's clearing your energy. You can use selenite, you can use kyanite, is a crystal that I really, really love, especially for chakra balancing, and kyanite is good. Okay. I just saved my other video. I guess it's something with the file size. Okay. And then other ways to cleanse would be Florida water. If you're cleansing a person, you could do a spiritual bath. What else? So crystals, smudging, word and intention, spiritual baths. I'm drawing a blank. So, yeah. I'm going to stop there because I'm drawing a blank at this point. But all of those are great ways to cleanse. You can use salt water from the ocean as well. All of those are good ideas for cleansing. And like I said, do your research. Get a good book. You know, like, you don't have to buy a bunch of books. Get a good book from the library or something. I don't know. When I was first getting into this, I was in middle school and I was going to the library. I'd be like, Mom, can you drop me off? And I would go to the library and I would pick out all the books I can, like on witchcraft, and I would open them up and I would look at them and I'm like, Like, I would feel like I was a sinner. Like, I would feel bad, but I could not help myself. I could not. And so I would like pick a couple to borrow, and I'd pick some other like regular reading books, and my mom would pick us up, and she's like, "How was it? Did y'all find what you wanted, or whatever?" I'm like, "Yeah," and I'm hiding witchcraft books in my lap in the car, and that's how it was. I mean, middle school and high school. I mean, I had my points where I was like really trying to be a good Christian. Like, I was about it. I got saved. I'd go to church. But still, there would always be that like pull, like, this is not you. This is not you, baby. And it wasn't. And once I turned 18, for the most part, I mean, I did have a couple times there, like before I was 20, and like, so probably around maybe 19 and 20, I was trying to be like a good Christian again. And after that, it was just kind of like, no, it wasn't for me. And yeah, so I've just, since then, it's a long, slow type of journey. So my point is, do the reading, do the research. If something you read doesn't really sit right with your spirit, then just let it go. Like, if the whole book isn't is like being bothersome for you and you just don't agree with it, then just get a new book. Don't even bother with trying to finish it. Just get a new book. There's no reason to waste your time trying to read something that just doesn't resonate with your spirit. There isn't. There's so many books. If it doesn't feel right for you, get a different book. But yeah, just do your research, do your reading, and like what Kaylee has said a few times now, the best thing you can really do is get to know yourself, do your meditation, and do it regularly. Spirituality and witchcraft, in my opinion, is really a journey of getting to know yourself first. And from there, you want to, in my opinion, like I said, from getting to know yourself, you want to move on to getting to know your ancestors, first and foremost, before you move on to working with deities or whatever the case is. Deities, I'll just leave it at deities, gods and goddesses, or saints, all of those ascended master type energies, all of that I'm bundling in one. Before you start trying to work with them, and getting to know like archangels and all of those like different spiritual like figures, you really want to know yourself. You want to know your ancestors, and you want to really do that shadow work, and get to know like your triggers and what behaviors of yours are a detriment on where you're going in life, or the self-sabotage. What are you afraid of? Things like that, So a lot of witchcraft and spirituality is going to be inner work, self-healing, reparenting, all of that stuff. It plays a large role, especially in the beginning. And if you bypass it, okay, but you're gonna end up pushed back to that. And just remember to be compassionate and gentle with yourself, and that this is a process, and everyone is always still healing. Everyone is all still elevating and trying to do better and grow, and everyone is always a student and still learning. So just keep that stuff in mind, and I hope that this video was helpful for not just the baby witches, but for the people who are on the path and need like a refresher on, you know, the whole back to basic type stuff. So, anyway, I will talk to you guys later, and I hope you guys have a good evening.